Hey everybody, welcome back to another 10-minute Marvel video. I'm Petter, and today we're talking about Moon Knight here, the Jeff Lemire collection. This is one of the probably best known Moon Knight stories out there, and it was one that I wanted to grab and read for a little while now. There are elements of this that definitely the Moon Knight Disney Plus show pulled from. So, let's kind of introduce what this new series group of videos is going to be here first, because I have a stack of comic compendiums, omnibuses, and trade paperbacks that I have been reading recently. And I wanted to start to talk about them on the channel because part of what 10 Minute Marvel does, both Greg and myself, we're reading comics. Now, that ebbs and flows throughout the year. MCU content generally is what we're focused on. But here, recently I've had the chance to really read a lot of comics, and well, to see, some of this glorious artwork here. And I wanted to start to talk about these more because comics are great. Comics are a great way to get some of that superhero story in a way that's pretty fast to read and just fun to see the sources that are being drawn from. I don't know particularly how this is always going to go, but let's talk a little bit about this one. So, the Moon Knight, the complete collection, it is Jeff Lemire, right? Jeff Lemire. This one is a story very steeped in kind of that mental ward type setting that we saw towards the end of the Moon Knight show. This is a story about Stephen Grant, Mark Spector, Jake Lockley. I was like, it's not Langley. Jake Lockley having to really come to terms, and in particular Mark Spector having to come to terms and kind of take control, but less control, more understanding of the other personalities that are part of his identity disorder. And it really leans into that. It also leans into this idea that Khonshu, not the cause of the identity disorder, dissociative identity disorder, but appreciates it, wants to use it, and wants to have that agreement with every single personality in there. And that's an interesting element to the story. How Khonshu in this story is the villain. He's manipulating everything behind the scenes. He's trying to set Anubis up to take the fall for it, and to have Moon Knight defeat Anubis on Khonshu's behalf. But it is Anubis. Now I'm questioning it all. But first off, let's just talk a little bit about the artwork. Not first off, we've obviously talked about a bunch of stuff in here, but they do a great job with the artwork, with telling this story, so often leaving empty space on the page. It gives it that feeling that feels a little bit separated from everything else, where you can start to understand the mindset of what's going on here, or the kind of the trouble of everything that is happening. And then you get this kind of takeover: what is real, what isn't, what is happening in the world. That is, it just works really well. And then even like these notes around different people, different versions of Moon Knight. It's just really well done. And it also ties in kind of this idea that again was talked about in the Moon Knight show, about this spaceship, basically this setting where all the gods are. That's why they need to have their avatars basically on Earth. They can't interact directly with Earth, and that's the whole idea, is that Moon Knight is being tempted with, is this idea that Anubis has, not Anubis, but Anubis does play into the story, but Set? I think it's Set. Set has broken free from this setting and now can interact in the real world, has found a way to do this. And it's that element that Moon Knight needs to stop. This, I'm not going to talk too much more about the story, but I want to talk about it just a tiny bit as kind of the overall theme and feel to it. Obviously, the overall theme is definitely that of dissociative identity disorder with these different personalities, and Mark Spector kind of having to come to terms with himself and his history. And that is really well done. This is not a superhero comic in the normal sense of superhero comics. It is a superhero comic diving into the psyche and the mindset of this hero, this anti-hero character, or vigilante type character that just, it stands out as a great kind of in-depth look. And I really appreciate it for that. And it makes for a very compelling and quick read as well. Like, this is a pretty fast read because you want to dive into the story and see what it is going to tell, and see kind of the twists along the road, and how Mark, Steven, and Jake are all going to deal with each other. But I guess two questions here. First off, have you read this story? What did you think of the story itself? Did it stand out to you? And how do you like this format of what I'm trying to do here? I have a stack of other comics that I'm going to be talking about here as well over the next few days and weeks. So let me know your thoughts on that. So drop a comment down in the comment section. Give the video a thumbs up. And if you enjoy this content, check out the other videos that we have. This is the first one really talking about comics, but we have plenty of videos around Marvel comics coming into my collection, so ones that are more on the collectible side of things, as well as then Marvel trading cards and MCU news, rumors, and the like. And if you want to check out more content on the news and rumors, we actually just put out our most recent podcast episode where we went through and gave ourselves some categories to do a Marvel Awards show. So see how Greg and myself differ and are similar on where we hand out our awards. You can find the podcast here on YouTube. Click onto the channel, subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate everybody who has subscribed and who is checking out the videos. And then click on the podcast tab or search for 10 Minute Marvel wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcasts from. But with that case, we'll see you next time.